Hi, and welcome to the Mighty Crispy.
I offered you guys a chance to choose between the left Supergirl or the right Supergirl, and only one person voted for the right one, so we're gonna draw the left one. And 5 or 6 votes on some different media for that. So here I'm just sort of showing the things I used to draw: my mechanical pencil, a gummy eraser, and a regular plastic eraser. And so, if you want to hear more about that, like the different tools I use to draw when I do comic books or whatever, just let me know, and I can do a little video on that. Here, I'm looking at the line of action for my character and then adding on the body parts to that line of action. It's important to think about that, I think, when you want to draw something that looks like it has some motion to it. And here's why. If you have a straight down line of action, it's really hard to convey motion in the picture. Whereas if you have a line of action that's curved and the torso and the pelvis are, if you draw a line straight up from the two of them, they should be off center. And that sort of conveys motion. You can draw a person running with a straight down line of action, but it just doesn't look great. So here you can see the line of action is very sweeping. And if you look at any books like How to Draw Comics the Marvel Way, they spend quite a bit of time on this whole line of action idea, where it sort of follows down through one leg or whatever of the character. So here I'm roughing out the body. I've drawn sort of the torso, the pelvis bit, and then I'm adding the arms and the legs, because sort of that's how the body takes shape, right? And what you can see here is I'm doing a few little corrections here and there, trying to get the line of her back, because it's going to be sort of a three-quarter view, but not quite by the end of it. And so this arm, the shoulder is out front of her body, but the elbow is way out front, and then the hand is sort of coming back. She's just had a great big haymaker kind of punch. And when you're drawing like Superman or Supergirl or whatever, Wonder Woman, they would be the types of folks to throw that big haymaker kind of punch because they can get away with it. Super powerful. They're going to knock somebody into the next state, right? And then here I'm working on sort of the eye line and getting that shape of the head right for a head-on view. You can see I'm drawing into the arm and then erasing after, and that's called drawing through. And it's a really good thing to actually draw through your pictures because it helps you get your proportion right. And you can see I'm drawing and erasing the eyes. And eyes are something that I sometimes struggle with and sometimes don't. And I was practicing earlier, sort of a cartoony kind of eye. And then sort of, if you look at your actual shape of your own eye, it's not round. It's more almond shape. And there's like the manga eyes. And so I just did a couple little practices there with the pen and then come back to there to sort of refocus my mind after making, two or three, not mistakes necessarily, but drawing a couple sets of eyes I didn't like. And so here I'm adding the hair on, and she's got sort of short hair, like a bob, and you can see it's trailing behind her. It's trailing behind her because she is throwing that great big punch from left to right on the page. And so you've got to have the loose parts of her body, her clothing, whatever, convey that motion. I heard that like a lot of superheroes in the beginning had capes simply because it's easier to show the motion of somebody if they've got a cape on. If you think about people that fly, like Superman flies, and his cape trails behind him. Supergirl flies, the cape trails behind him. Green Lantern flies. How do you show he's in motion? And like the first Green Lantern had a cape, and I think that was part of it because it was easy to show that he was flying if he had a cape on, because the rest of the suit is skin tight. If the suit's skin tight, nothing trails behind to show the motion. Anyways, so here we're drawing the other leg, and you can see I've drawn that leg through all the way to the other side. Now am I taking it out? Yeah, I'm taking that out right there. sort of confirming sort of the organization of the picture. And then we're drawing our hand in behind. And a good thing to draw hands, like look at your own hand, make a fist, take some pictures from different angles, and really take a look, because it's hard sometimes to see, oh, your pinky goes here, and this finger hides behind that one, this finger hides behind that one when you draw that. And so I've heard that hands are some of the hardest things to draw, because there's as many joints in your hand as there is like in the rest of your body. So here we've got our cape coming out and trailing behind, and so it's really pushing. So the leading edge I just drew is sort of attached to that lead shoulder, and the back edge is going to be sort of attached to the shoulder and behind. So the shoulder closest to us is pulling the cape forward along her body, and the shoulder behind is actually going to be pushing. Like if you throw that punch, one shoulder comes forward, one shoulder goes back. And so you've got the cape sort of has to show that motion, so the cape is folding in on itself, making sort of billowing in behind. And you want to sort of make that distinction when you draw that. So there's the pencils for that. And now here comes the ink. So I'm using my 05, and you can see I've spread it up a little bit. So I'm going to just erase a bit with my gummy eraser. And the idea here is that it sort of makes the lines disappear a bit, so that I can still see them to do the inking, but they don't show through the drawing. And so I've got my 05. I had to stop. I drew the like 3 lines and had to go stop for something, and then came back. So unfortunately, it's a little too bright there, and it's a bit washed out. But once we get a few more lines on here, I think the focus changes and it's easier to see. And so here's, like on the other one that you didn't vote for, I actually inked it on the outside with a 1. It's a very thick brush, and so it kind of took on like a Batman Brave and the Bold kind of look. Whereas this one I'm inking it with the 05 to start, to get all these outside lines, and then I move on to other pens in behind it. And I don't do a lot of shading on this picture actually, because I wanted to try to do sort of the shading with the marker, with the markers, and see how that turned out for me. I'm recording this one with my cell phone. This might be the last or second last drawing I do recording it with my cell phone. I'm hoping to pick up a webcam, so that the whole process gets a bit easier for me, instead of doing it on my cell phone and sending it to Dropbox and having that come to my computer and then editing it. Hopefully I can just edit it straight right from the webcam. So we'll see about that. And so I'm just drawing some lines, some fat lines with actually the brush pen to sort of show the kapow kind of thing from that punch. And I'm just going to erase the rest of the pencil in behind. And then we'll get into the inking stage here next, which happens now. And so I've got the blue, and I'm going over the back side and sort of where there'd be shade first. And I went over that 2 or 3 times actually, and you can see that it's a little bit darker. I don't know if it translates well onto the camera, but it looks pretty good on the paper. And yeah, I'm going over it again just to have that shading come in, so it's more of like this sort of animated style shading, as opposed to like cross-hatching or whatever. It's just sort of a darker shade of red or blue or whatever on the back side. Anyways, this drawing's sort of wrapping up. I hope you enjoyed it. And then I think next week I've picked up the new Teen Titans book for 1 and 2, and over the last couple months, I'm obviously taking a break for Future's End, but that's okay. And I'm working on a Teen Titans drawing that actually has 5 characters in it. So that'll be next week's video. Hope you come back to see that. And yeah, you'll see the finished Supergirl here in just a second.
So thanks for watching. If you have any questions or comments, leave them below and I'll answer them in the next video or respond to them in the comment section. If you want to find me on Twitter, I'm at Crispy47. I have a blog where I'm posting up pages from a comic book and working through drawing on the right side of the brain. That's at themightycrispy.blogspot.ca. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next week. Bye.